everybody, welcome back to Appa's Kitchen. So today I'm going to make a really simple seafood pasta. I have stuff in my freezer. I'm just trying to clean out my freezer. And it's Thanksgiving week. The stores are crazy, so I'm avoiding the grocery store. So I'm just using what I have here to make my lunch. So it's really simple, just a frozen seafood mix from Trader Joe's. And then I have also some frozen shrimp, a half of a bag of frozen shrimp from Trader Joe's that I'm going to use. Some tomato passata that I made the other day. I was trying to make spaghetti alla cecina. So it's just passata with garlic and some hot pepper. So really simple, and I just want to show you, if you've watched any of my videos, the point that I keep trying to make is that Italian food is just a few simple ingredients. It doesn't really have to be fancy. There's not a whole lot of prep involved. It's just kind of knowing what to put together to make something good. So this is a really simple dish. I'm using pasta that I brought back from Italy, so you might not be able to find this pasta, but you could use any pasta. You could use spaghetti, linguine, penne, whatever, orecchiette. All right, so I'm going to take you over to the counter. I'll show you what I have, and then we'll just start putting it all together. Okay, so this is a seafood blend from Trader Joe's. It's frozen. It has shrimp, calamari, and scallops. I like to take the calamari out, separate the calamari. So that's why I have two colanders here. Because I think the calamari needs longer to cook. The shrimp and the scallops just put in at the very end. And then I have some of these shrimp also, just a few in this bag that I just want to get rid of. Really nice. I love these shrimp from Trader Joe's because they're peeled and deveined, and they still have the tail on. So, you don't really have to do any work with them. Okay, so what I do is just put them in a colander, run some cold water over them, and then let them sit. So I'm going to do that and then get started on the sauce. So for the sauce, I have some tomato passata that I made the other day. I mean, I didn't make the passata, but I made a sauce with some garlic and some red pepper flakes. And then I'm going to add also some of these cherry peppers because I have so many. And I have some fresh basil. The pasta that I'm going to use are these gnocchetti sardi. They kind of remind me, when I was in Italy, I had cavatelli allo scoglio. So allo scoglio just means seafood pasta. And cavatelli were small like this. These are really cute. So if you don't have these, you can use shells, you can use orecchiette, you can use penne, you could use ditalini, whatever. You could use spaghetti, bucatini, any kind of pasta, whatever kind of pasta you like would work with this dish. Basically, all I want to show you is we have a bag of seafood, some tomato, and you throw it together and you have a nice lunch or dinner. All right, so I'm going to just put everything in the colander, run some cold water over it, and let it start to defrost. All right, so I'm starting off with some garlic and basil. I'm just sauteing in olive oil. I add a little bit of black pepper. This is the way that we start off our crab gravy. So, somebody might be watching and saying, wait a minute, that's not how you make pasta allo scoglio. Well, guess what? This is what I'm doing today. And, I might do something completely different the next time I make this. I'm putting my cherry tomatoes in first because I want these to start to break down a little bit before I add the passata. So for this dish, because I'm using seafood, I want the basil flavor to be a little bit milder. That's why I'm putting the basil in first rather than putting it in at the end. A little bit of salt just to draw some of that moisture out of these tomatoes and get them to start cooking down. I'm going to raise the temperature a little bit, cover that up, and start working with my seafood. So I just want to make sure that my seafood is defrosted, and I'm going to separate out the calamari from the rest of the seafood. All right, so it's only been a few minutes. The tomatoes have already cooked down nicely. This would actually be really good just with cherry tomatoes, but since I have this passata that I want to use, I'm just going to add that. And then let this cook down a little bit to start to incorporate everything. I think I want to add a little bit of water. The seafood, the calamari is going to release a little bit of liquid, but then as you cook it, all this is going to cook down. If you have white wine, you could add a splash of white wine. This is not really a planned meal. This is more, I'm just using what I have. All right, so I have a little bit of calamari that I separated out from the seafood mix. This is going to give the sauce a nice flavor. And I probably want to let it cook, I don't know, for about 30 minutes or so before I add the rest of the seafood. The shrimp and the scallops cook really quickly, so they just go in at the end just until the shrimp turn pink, and it's done. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Let's cover that up and let that cook for a little bit. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes that this has been cooking. I did add a little bit of water because it was starting to thicken up more than I wanted. So it's really nice. The tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes have really broken down. You know, you could add more cherry tomatoes at this point if you want, just to have a little bit of that freshness. But it's looking pretty good, and I just tasted the squid, and it tastes pretty tender. So it tastes good. It's flavored the sauce nicely. It's really nicely cooked. So I put my water on. Gonna let this continue on a low heat. And then right before my pasta is done, I will add the shrimp and the scallops. Let those cook a little bit. See if I need to add any pasta water to it to thin it out a little bit, and then mix everything together. So all in all, this took about maybe 30, 35 minutes to cook. So it's a pretty quick meal, really delicious, and, you know, easy, cheap, nothing fancy, but it looks fancy. All right, so I'll see you when the pasta is just about done. All right, so my pasta has about 2 minutes left to cook. The sauce has thickened up nicely. The calamari is cooked. So I'm just going to add the rest of the seafood. maybe turn this up a little bit. So I just want these shrimp to turn pink. It is pretty thick, so I might want to add a little pasta water, but we'll see once I put the pasta in. All right, we have 1 minute left on the pasta. Cover this up, let that cook. I'm going to turn my pasta water off. I like to turn it off a minute before it's done. It's just easier to deal with that way. And then if it needs to cook anymore, it can cook in the sauce with the seafood. Looks great. So the shrimp really don't take that long to cook, and neither do the scallops. They're small. I have tried other seafood mixes, and I don't like them as much as this one from Trader Joe's. All right, let's throw our pasta in. Whoops. I only used a half of a bag, but definitely could have gone with the full bag. There's plenty of seafood here. This could easily make a meal for a family of 4. All right, I think I got all the seafood, all the pasta out. Let's go stir. We got a little bit of liquid with the pasta. Looks like the shrimp are done. I think I just want to throw in a splash of pasta water. Pasta really expanded. It didn't look like that much when I put it in the water. So this is going to make a couple meals for me. Nice. Pasta's al dente. Perfect. And looks like the shrimp are done. All right, so let's go to the table and try it. All right, here we have it. Look at this huge bowl of pasta. I really didn't think I was making this much. Just a half a bag of the gnocchetti. And this is probably enough for 4 people right here. All right, I'm going to be generous because I am going to be eating leftovers, but there's only so much you can do. So it smells great. It looks delicious. The one thing that I was missing in Italy was my fried pepper flakes. And I know, I add this and then you can't really taste the food, but what are you going to do? I'm kind of addicted to this stuff. All right, just looks beautiful. The big shrimp that I had in a separate bag, I cut them in half. Delicious. The shrimp are cooked perfectly, so 2 minutes was perfect time. The pasta is so good. I wish I could get this here. I love this pasta. And let's try a scallop. Beautiful. Scallops are cooked perfectly, nice and tender. So, really good. So it's a quick, cheap meal. Just a few simple ingredients. A bag of mixed seafood. Look, if you want to put more, you can put more. You can put clams, mussels, whatever. But this is just, I'm trying to just do simple. This is simple. I usually pick up a few bags of the seafood mix from Trader Joe's, just to have in the freezer. And then, like today, I'm cleaning out my freezer. So it's time to use it. So a bag of seafood mix, some form of tomatoes. If you have cherry tomatoes, you can use cherry tomatoes. You can use a can of tomatoes. I like those small cans of cherry tomatoes. Those are nice. Sorry, this is so good. You can use tomato passata, whatever. I put basil and garlic in this. You don't have to. You could start off with a little onion, shallot, if you have white wine, throw a splash of white wine in there. It doesn't have to be complicated. And you don't really need a recipe with like exact measurements. Just put what you like. It comes together very quickly. If you like seafood, you're going to love it. It's delicious. So much better than the first one that I had in Italy. The first one that I had, I forget what the pasta was, but it was kind of like a spaghetti allo scoglio. It was really salty, really fishy. The only thing I really liked about it were the squid. You could tell was very fresh, tender. The second time I had it was with cavatelli. And that was nice. But funny thing is, they had a little dish of kind of like this. It was more oil than chili flakes. And the server came to my table, asked me if I wanted some. She put some on it, and then she took it away. What if I wanted more? But that was nice because the cavatelli were fresh, homemade. All right. So there you have it. Gnocchetti allo scoglio. Seafood pasta. Great thing to have in the winter, you know. It's cold. This is so warming. There's so much here. I wish you could come and join me and help me eat some of this. I'm going to be eating this for days. All right. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Tell your friends. Share my videos with people. I'm trying to get up to 3,000 subscribers or whatever I need. I'm a long ways away. But anyway, I really appreciate those of you who are watching my videos. At least I'm not like just sitting here talking to myself. See you next time in Appa's Kitchen. Bye.